A lot of people are confused about Sony's current position now that they have a QLED panel on the Bravia 7 and the Bravia 9. Some people believe that Triluminos is QLED. I'm here to let you know that that's not exactly what it is. I will explain what it is in grand detail, so if you like that kind of thing, smack a like on this video because class is officially in session. Now, for those of you that don't know, I used to work for Sony back in 2012, so everything you're about to hear comes literally from somebody who has insider knowledge and has been a part of that Sony team. Now, let's start by talking about the obvious. XR Triluminos Pro is the one that has the QLED panel. But again, if you notice, they kind of tell you that it's not QLED when you read the description. I mean, there's a difference between Triluminos Pro, for example, again, where they talk about it just reproduces over 1 billion shades of color, but being very careful never to really say QLED on the step-down Bravia 3, right? But on the higher end, Bravia 9 and Bravia 7, then they say the QLED panel, here's the part you need to listen for, reinforced by XR Triluminos, enhances the range of hues and saturation, revealing extremely precise colors and yada, 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 right? But here's the big one to listen to. The QLED panel, comma, reinforced by XR Triluminos Pro. So that is telling you right there that they are two separate, distinct technologies. Now, if they're two separate, distinct technologies, what the hell is Triluminos then? The internet has been asking this for years. So simply put, Triluminos is basically, you know, like with traditional LED lights or conventional LED TVs, you have a white LED that passes yellow phosphor through a light guide plate, so on and so forth. Well, what makes Triluminos get its name of Triluminos, instead of a white light, it's a blue light. And that blue LED passes through a red and green quantum dot filter, and that gives it the ability to bounce that RGB light back through the light guide plate and then onto the various layers of the LCD. And this is what makes it Triluminos. It basically creates true RGB. Now, this was back when QD Vision was a part of Sony's way of making Triluminos. And again, this was back in 2016 before the acquisition of QD Vision by Samsung. Now, after Samsung adopted this whole way of doing things through, again, buying QD Vision, that kind of put Sony in a weird spot, and they went to phosphor, right? Instead, they used their blue light. They never got rid of that, but they, instead of using quantum dots, the red and green portion instead of quantum dots was phosphor. And that still gave it RGB effect, but just not as much kick as the real Triluminos. And this is something that Sony has been doing for years, baffling so many people as to what Sony really is. What is Triluminos? And the question even Sony tries to answer because they know it's a very gray area where nobody really knows. Now, I will be very clear. Sony has been very open about what it is for years if you do the research, dating back to even 2013, around about when I was working for Sony. They have all kinds of little Triluminos display explanation charts, and one of them say that Sony's proprietary Triluminos display enhances images by producing a wider palette of natural colors. This new generation backlight technology, you hear that? It's a backlight technology, reinforcing all the knowledge I just gave you a second ago, right? So this new generation backlight technology expands the range of colors on Bravia displays compared to conventional TVs. This ensures images produced are more vivid and true to life. Sorry, that one was a little bit more blurry, but you get the idea. Essentially, it's a backlight technology, like I'm telling you, hence the name Triluminos. RGB lights. That's why the symbol, the insignia, is red, green, and blue. It's all about that RGB light being shined through that LCD layer. That is all it is. But the only thing is how they get the red and the green part. Either they use phosphor or they use quantum dot. And this year they've gone back to using quantum dots. Hence they mention a QLED panel reinforced by Triluminos. And if you watch even their explanation video, they tell you that it's a combination of hardware and software that when melded together gives you this amazing experience. But really, in essence, all it truly is, my friends, is like technology. It's literally a backlight system. That's what Triluminos is. That is what it's always been. There are people that go up in arms. Triluminos is QLED because they remember back when Sony was using quantum dots to pass the red and green, but instead in the X900F era, X900H era, and onward, they used phosphor, and they've been using phosphor for years, up until recently with their recent partnership with Samsung, where they used, again, quantum dots with their QD OLED line, starting with the Sony A95K, and then A95L, and now this year with their brand new Bravia 9, Bravia 7, you get the idea. So if you ever had that question, is Bravia or is Triluminos quantum dots? No, it's not quantum dots. It's a backlight system. That's really what it is. However, it's supposed to have quantum dots that they use to shine through it, but it doesn't always happen that way. And now with the Bravia 9, we finally have that. However, every single thing labeled Triluminos is not quantum dot. No. Hence, the Bravia 3 says nothing about a QLED panel. The panel being the most important part because that's what's going to shine the light, or rather, that's what's going to be able to give you the quantum dot filtering when the light passes through it. Again, this is a very important distinction to note when you are shopping around and you see Triluminos. Do not just think you are buying a QLED panel, because you are not. Unless it explicitly says quantum dots or QLED on it, you are not buying a QLED. And that is something that I think you should know in this day and age. Again, Sony lost the ability to be able to do all of that without paying the fees to Samsung to be able to license or whatever it is that they do to be able to say, hey, we have a QLED panel. They haven't been able to do that for years, by the way. Because again, in 2016, QD Vision was purchased by Samsung Display. Now, just a little bit more of some education and backstory. There were only 2 quantum dot manufacturers really that could be commercialized in, smart TVs. It was Nanosys and it was QD Vision. QD Vision is basically the cheaper version of Nanosys, and the thing that made QD Vision different from Nanosys, QD Vision was more about edge-lit displays, and that is what kind of gave it a reputation of being low-end quantum dots because it couldn't really work well with what we have now, how we have like all these mini LEDs and it's all fantastic and glorious. That wouldn't have happened with QD Vision. However, that technology and all that IP stuff was purchased by Samsung either way to have a monopoly on the QLED world, which they did from, honestly, I would say, they did it from like 2017 onward to even present day. QLED has really been known like mostly by Samsung. Now, of course, you have other partners that they have had over the years, TCL, Hisense, some other ones, but you get the idea. But the whole main idea of understanding this part is understanding where they came from to know where we're going. Thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty. And if this video was informational and you learned something, smack a like on this video, subscribe for more content like this. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later.